Hello and welcome to the Whoniverse and to part 4 of a series of videos which takes an in-depth look at each incarnation of the Doctor. So in this video I'm going to be looking at the character known as the Fourth Doctor. This video will feature a look at the character's identity and personality, as well as a brief history or timeline of events, and a look at the friends and foes he's encountered, all to answer the question, who is the Fourth Doctor? Now the Fourth Doctor was the fourth incarnation of the Doctor, first seen at the end of the serial known as Planet of the Spiders, which aired on the 8th of June 1974. He was portrayed by the actor Tom Baker from 1974 to 1981. However, the character has reappeared on notable occasions, such as in 1983 in The Five Doctors, and then he appeared in a Children Need special known as Dimensions in Time, in a two-part story where the Doctor's incarnations kept changing due to the work of the Rani. Tom Baker was the actor to hold the helm of the TARDIS the longest, with 7 years as the Doctor. But what was his incarnation of the Doctor like? The Fourth Doctor is known for being one of, if not the most popular Doctor with fans. To many, the rest may be the Doctor, but they are not the Doctor. The Fourth Doctor was a tall comedic genius who, much like his second incarnation, used jokes and acting the fool to make his opponents underestimate him. The Fourth Doctor was often fond of sweet treats, the most famous being jelly babies. This incarnation of the Doctor stood apart from others, even his own people, who delighted in keeping both friends and foes alike off guard with his childish humour. But what's the point of being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes? This incarnation of the Doctor had the power to be all cheers and smiles, but also dark and furious when provoked. This is the Doctor who faced some of the most difficult decisions in his lifetime, most notably the potential genocide of the Daleks. The Doctor could be pedantic at times, often acting erratically in crisis, reacting to others with witty wisecracks and constantly changing his direction of speech. The Fourth Doctor was witty, clever, comedic and reckless, unfazed with death and torture, even reflecting on his long life and how many friends he's had, much like recent incarnations of the character have come to do. In stark contrast to the elegant and refined figure of his previous incarnation, the Fourth Doctor's most distinctive item of clothing was an extremely long, multicoloured scarf which often got trapped in the TARDIS doors. The Doctor also wore a variety of waistcoats and a long, almost tweed-like brown coat or red velvet-like jacket. The Fourth Doctor's fashion changed over time with additional items such as a hat being added, and the colour scheme of his clothing in his final years changing to a dark red or burgundy colour. Now the Fourth Doctor travelled through space and time in the same TARDIS all his future incarnations pilot. Only like him, the TARDIS changes and renews itself. This time, the TARDIS console was more white in colour than its previous version, and later in its incarnation's lifespan, became a silver colour with red lining. The numerous controls were mostly red and black in colour. The new console also recycled the same central column, but the green coloured tubing became red to match the colour scheme and create a more timeless and futuristic look. The roundels on the wall became simpler, almost reverting back to their original state, but this time appearing more yellow. The exterior box was wider than its previous version and featured narrower windows and a more wordy sign on the left door. The Fourth Doctor's era also introduced the secondary console room, which is a very simple and natural design, being mostly made of wood. Now the Fourth Doctor met many faces and had many great adventures, so here is a brief-ish timeline of the Fourth Doctor's adventures. This timeline is just a quick overview of the Fourth Doctor's era, so not all his travels will be featured to avoid spoiling them for anyone who wants to watch them. However, this timeline does feature the companion's exits and circumstances of those exits. So, after the Third Doctor's battle with the Eight Legs and the Great One, in which he was poisoned by radiation, the Third Doctor was deposited by the TARDIS at Unit HQ, where he regenerated with Sarah Jane and the Brigadier witnessing his transformation. The new Doctor was in, and was at first confused, mumbling, unsure of his current predicament. The Doctor, now in his fourth body, was placed in the sickbay at Unit HQ and treated by Unit's medical officer known as Harry Sullivan. The Doctor soon outwitted Harry and attempted to get to his TARDIS to leave. The Doctor, still recovering, returns to help Unit defeat a K-1 robot, but when a disintegration ray is fired, it actually grows in size. When the battle against the robot was won and the Doctor chose clothing he was happy with, the Doctor and Sarah Jane entered the TARDIS with Harry Sullivan going with them, at first sceptical at the idea of travelling through time and space in a police box, only to be amazed when he entered. The trio leave the Brigadier with no warning and abandoning a Unit dinner party at Buckingham Palace. Then the TARDIS landed on a space station, Nerva, where humanity had been cryogenically suspended to await Earth's recovery from solar flares. There, the Wern wished to use the humans as food and incubators for their kind after the human race had destroyed their breeding colonies throughout Andromeda in a 1,000-year battle with them. The Queen of the Wern birthed numerous larvae which proceeded to eat humans, absorbing their knowledge and their bodies. Luckily, Noah, a human converted into a Wern, retained his strong will and tricked the Wern into suicide. Afterwards, on behalf of the space station, the Doctor went down to Earth with Harry and Sarah Jane to fix the transmat relay, leaving the TARDIS on the station. On Earth, the trio encountered a Sontaran who was conducting experiments on humans. The Doctor defeated him and began to use the transmat to bring Harry, Sarah Jane and himself back to the Ark and the TARDIS. However, the transmat was intercepted by the Time Lords. The Doctor was given a mission which he had to complete. The mission was to destroy the Daleks before they were even created. And the Doctor's actions on the mission led to him meeting Davros, the creator of the Daleks, and being presented with one of the hardest decisions of his life. After this adventure, the Doctor, Sarah and Harry finally returned to the space station. However, they arrived quite a bit earlier in its timeline. The space station's crew was poisoned by Cybermen who attempted to attack Voga, a planet made of gold. Once the Cybermen were defeated, the Doctor was reunited with the TARDIS, and the trio received a call from the Brigadier via the space-time telegraph. Upon arrival on Earth, the Doctor, Sarah Jane and Harry visited Scotland and met up with the Brigadier, where the group discovered that an alien race known as the Zygons were planning to use a Scarabin to attack London and abducting people to power body prints that let them shapeshift into the forms of humans as disguises. The Doctor and company had several close calls with the Zygons, and eventually discovered the location of their spaceship, rescuing everyone, during which he instigated the ship to self-destruct and released the Scarabin into Loch Ness. Harry Sullivan then decided it was time for him to leave the TARDIS. The Doctor and Sarah Jane then had many more adventures, including saving a planet from falling into an antimatter universe, fighting the return of a god and robot mummies, and preventing an invasion of android lookalikes. The Doctor next found his TARDIS forced to land on Karn by the Time Lords. The Sisterhood of Karn had been crashing ships that passed Karn to protect what was left of their elixir of life. The Doctor used a firecracker to unplug the crevice the elixir came from, being promptly booted out. He then discovered a greater threat hidden on Karn. The evil Time Lord Morbius was being resurrected in a patchwork body. Defeating him in a literal battle of the minds, the Doctor managed to reduce Morbius to a mindless beast that tumbled off a cliff to his death. However, the Doctor was left severely drained, but the Sisterhood allowed him to drink some of the elixir, which restored the Doctor's health. The Doctor and Sarah then went toe-to-toe with the Crinoid, an alien plant which desired to take over Earth. Once unit forces had defeated the threat with the Doctor and Sarah Jane's assistance, the Doctor then accidentally brought the Helix intelligence to San Martino, Italy, in the 15th century, where it planned to dominate the human race by using the Brotherhood of Demnos as its agents. Because the agents had been converted into pure energy, being by the Helix, the Doctor tricked the Brotherhood's leader into using all of his energy until he vanished. Using the mask and cloak, the Doctor posed as him and using a device to drain the energy out the rest of the Brotherhood, killing them and saving the Earth. The Doctor and Sarah Jane then landed in an English quarry where they were buried by an explosion. The Doctor emerged unscathed, but Sarah Jane was taken ill, so he accompanied her to the hospital. There he discovered she had been in contact with a stone hand, revealing a deadly civilization within the quarry. Back in his TARDIS, the Doctor received a telepathic summons from Gallifrey, and was forced to leave Sarah behind, as humans were not allowed. They both agreed they would never forget one another. The Doctor returned to Gallifrey, discovering that the signal hadn't come from someone he knew. It was the time of the election for Lord President of Gallifrey. The Doctor had come to believe that the current one was in danger. The Doctor attempted to prevent the assassination, but ended up being framed for murdering the Lord President. To keep himself from being executed, the Doctor declared his own candidacy for a Lord President, believing the Matrix would give him a clue to who was behind this. The Doctor ended up in a mental duel with the culprit. The culprit was revealed to be manipulated by the Master. Since their last meeting, the Master had degenerated into a rotting corpse without any regenerations left. The Master was plotting to use the Eye of Harmony in an attempt to restart the cycle of regenerations by using the Sash of Rassilon to protect himself from the effects of the black hole that would destroy Gallifrey as a side effect. The Doctor stopped the Master and then left Gallifrey. It's at this point the Doctor most likely teamed up with all his other incarnations to save Gallifrey from destruction at the end of the last Great Time War, but lost all memory of the event due to the timelines not being synchronized. Then the Doctor landed on a planet where he was known as an evil god. The Doctor met a savage known as Leela, who he quickly befriended. Leela, wanting to come with the Doctor, forced her way into the TARDIS, becoming his new companion. The Doctor and Leela's first adventure led them to the 23rd century. There, the Doctor and Leela were accused of killing members of the crew and taken prisoner. They later discovered a madman named Taran Capel was murdering the crew, hoping to help his robot brethren rule humanity. However, the Doctor turned Capel's reprogramming of the robots against him by using helium gas to make his voice unrecognizable to them, leading to his death. The Doctor then brought Leela to Victorian London, where with the help of Henry Gordon Jago and Professor George Lightfoot, the Doctor was able to stop Greel from using a failed time machine that would have destroyed reality. Then, after an adventure where a lonely lighthouse became the setting for a battle with an alien shapeshifter, the Doctor and Leela then visited a space hospital in the year 5000, after the Doctor had become infected with a virus. The virus became a swarm, which left the Doctor's body and began to infect others. The Doctor defeated the menace with the assistance of a robot dog created by Professor Marius. This tin dog was K9, and joined the Doctor and Leela in the TARDIS. The Doctor, Leela, and K9 had many more adventures, including seeing the skull which created humanity's bad side, fixed the economy in Pluto, and encountered a species that the Time Lords had helped to evolve, whose destruction of their own planet became their own advancement in evolution, led to the Time Lords' non-interference policy. Returning once more to Gallifrey and posing as a vainglorious and power-mad Time Lord, the Doctor sought and attained the office of Lord President from Barusa, who he had left in charge in his previous visit, as part of a scheme to save his own homeworld from an invasion force of the Vardans. He repelled the Vardans after successfully tricking them, and killed an advance party of Sontarans through traps he set for them when they infiltrated his TARDIS. With his homeworld protected and Barusa once again in charge, the Doctor planned to resume his travels, but he learnt Leela had fallen in love with a Gallifreyan guard called Andred, and wished to remain with him. K9 likewise wished to stay with his mistress. Though he seemed at first to lose both companions, the Doctor quickly pulled out a crate marked with K9 Mark II from a storage area and grinned to himself. After constructing the new K9 unit, the Doctor was called upon by the White Guardian to find the key to Time's pieces and assemble it to bring the universe into balance. For his quest, the Doctor was given a new companion by the Guardian, a Time Lady named Romana. Despite not being too fond of one another, they still managed to find the first segment of the key. Romana then found the second piece of the key after battling the space pirates, and later the Doctor, Romana, and K9 found the third segment, disguised as a necklace belonging to the intergalactic criminal Circear of Deplos, who had been posing as an ordinary Earth woman for centuries. While looking for the reformed fourth segment on Tara, the Doctor decided to take a relaxing fishing break while Romana went to look for it. Though successful in finding the piece to the key, they both were forced into the political power struggle on Tara. The search for the next segment of the key brought the Doctor and Romana to Delta 3, where the Swampies worshipped an overgrown squid called Kroll, who was attacking a human mining base. Putting himself in harm's way, the Doctor found Kroll had swallowed the segment of the key and was transformed by its properties. Allowing himself to be grabbed by the giant creature, the Doctor was able to use the tracer to reclaim the segment, transforming Kroll back into a smaller squid. Reclaiming the piece, the Doctor and Romana returned to the search for the last segment. Searching for the final segment brought the Doctor and Romana to Atrios, a war-torn planet being attacked by the nearby computer planet Zeros. There they met the Shadow, an agent of the Black Guardian. Unfortunately, the final segment was in the form of Princess Astra of Atrios. The Doctor completed the key, then quickly separated it back into its original components to prevent the Black Guardian from getting it. Fearful the Black Guardian would return for revenge, the Doctor installed a randomizer in the TARDIS controls. While repairing K9, the Doctor found Romana had regenerated into Astra's form, much to his displeasure. The randomizer landed the TARDIS on Skaro, where the Daleks were excavating the remains of the Khaled base to restore Davros. The Doctor also faced the Movellans, an android race at war with the Daleks. The Doctor allowed them to take Davros in cryogenic custody to await trial for this crime of creating the Daleks. The Doctor partially bypassed the randomizer to take Romana on a relaxing holiday to Paris, where the Doctor discovered that a Jaggeroth named Scaroth was splintered into 12 cells throughout time after a spaceship exploded. The explosion's radiation affected the primordial ooze, thus beginning life on Earth. The Doctor, Romana, and the detective Duggan succeeded in stopping Scaroth from preventing his spaceship from exploding. The Doctor, Romana, and K9 had more adventures, including the Doctor investigating the creature in the pit, stopped an alien drug smuggler, and stopped a false god known as the Naimon, and an adventure which sees the book titled Sharda being the key to an ancient Time Lord prison planet. While looking for Sharda, the Doctor and Romana were taken by a time scoop to the Death Zone on Gallifrey, but were caught in a time eddy and failed to arrive in the Death Zone. At Romana's urging for a technologically advanced place of relaxation, the Doctor took them to the Leisure Hive. However, during the adventure to repair a rejuvenation machine, the Doctor ended up aging hundreds of years. A genetically created Agrillion named Pengol decided to take over, but thanks to the Doctor's interference, his plan to create a clone army of himself backfired as the Doctor was in the machine beforehand, gaining his youth back. However, the Doctor deciding that he was tired of running from his enemies, he then removed the randomizer from the TARDIS. Repairing K9 once again, the Doctor found himself stuck in a time loop in the TARDIS. He broke it by reenacting the events that he was reliving before the loop started over. The Doctor then stopped Meglos while preparing to leave for a new adventure. The Doctor received a message from Gallifrey demanding the return of Romana. While on course to Gallifrey, the TARDIS fell through a charged vacuum emboitment into a smaller pocket universe known as E-Space. During this time, he met an orphaned Alzarian boy named Adric, who snuck on board the TARDIS before they left, to find a way back home to their universe, as there was nothing left on Alzarius for Adric. After discovering Adric had stowed away aboard the TARDIS, the Doctor and Romana next arrived on the most technologically advanced planet in E-space, where they learned of a human ship called the Hydrax that came there several years ago. This gave the Doctor hope of finding a way back home. While travelling through E-space to take Adric home, the Doctor ended up at the Gateway, a location directly between N-space and E-space. Time winds blew into the TARDIS and damaged K9 while he was attempting to land. Upon finding the way home, the Doctor discovered Romana wished to remain to help the Farrells. Saddened, the Doctor agreed to let her do so, but with K9 as a parting gift. As Adric never had any intention of returning home to Alzarius, the Doctor allowed him to stay aboard the TARDIS and return to N-space with him. Back in N-space, the Doctor was called by the Trakan Union's Keeper to assist him in keeping evil away while his power faded due to age and a replacement was found. He encountered Nyssa of Trakan and her father Tremus, when he and Adric were accused of wishing to take the source for themselves. The Doctor eventually discovered the Master was attempting to steal the source, planning to use its power to merge with him to get a new body. However, the Doctor turned the tables on him again, leaving the Master to perish in his own exploding TARDIS. However, the Master survived, and had retained enough of the Source's power to merge with Tremus. After all of these adventures, the Doctor became tired of the TARDIS's chameleon circuit being stuck. The Doctor went to Logopolis to obtain the formula needed to fix it. Arriving, the Doctor found a woman named Tegan Javanka accidentally boarded, thinking the TARDIS was a police box. He also reunited with Nyssa, whilst also meeting a being known as the Watcher. They had a secret conversation, and the Doctor learnt the Watcher was his future self. Realising his current incarnation's end was near, the Doctor got to the formulas from Logopolis and shrank the TARDIS by accident due to the Master's interference, but this was corrected. The Doctor then went to the Ferris radio telescope to broadcast the CVE signal as the Watcher took Adric and Nyssa outside the universe. After successfully reopening the CVEs, the Doctor's short-lived alliance with the Master ended when he attempted to stop him from forcing the universe into serving him, with the threat of weaponizing the entropy, pulling the plug on the radio that powered the dish to do so. The Doctor ended up hanging onto it as the Master rotated the dish. Dangling from the dish, the Doctor experienced visions of his past foes, such as Davros and the Black Guardian, as he lost his grip and fell to the ground. In a daze from the fall, the Doctor experienced visions of the Brigadier, Sarah Jane, Harry, Leela, K9 and Romana. When Adric, Nyssa and Tegan gathered around him, the Doctor smiled, telling them that the moment had been prepared for. Shocking everyone present, the Doctor held his hand out to the Watcher, who merged with the Doctor as he regenerated into his next incarnation. So that was a relatively brief history of the Fourth Doctor. Now you may be wondering who all the aliens he met were, and all the foes he went up against. Well, the Fourth Doctor met a range of aliens from all parts of space and time, and even alternate universes, for some of the most notable and memorable being the K1 Robot, Wern, Sontarans, Daleks, Davros, Cybermen, Zygons, Scarshan, Sutek, Robot Mummies, Kral, Morbius, Krynoid, Casterian, Time Lords, The Master, Calder City Robots, Magnus Grill, Rutan, the Fendal, Usarians, Minions, Vardens, Ogre, Swampies, Kroll, the Black Guardian, Mavellans, Jagroff, Mandrills, Naimon, Formasi, Meglos, Marshmen, Great Vampires, Varials, Trakonites, and Logopolitians. The Fourth Doctor only encountered a few figures and groups from Earth's early history, unless you count UNIT in the 1970s, or was it the 80s? The other figures were Victorians, and the Brotherhood of Demos. So as you can see, the Fourth Doctor fought many foes, made many allies, and had many adventures. This incarnation of the Doctor as the character is most unpredictable, swaying from serious to sarcastic. This was the Doctor who was confident in his own ability, who saw himself as a Time Lord. This was the Doctor the most, well, alien. And for many, they wouldn't have it any other way. The next incarnation is different again, youthful, quick on his feet, but uncertain. I would tell you more about the Fifth Doctor today, but must dash. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like button and comment below with your favourite Fourth Doctor moment, story or alien. And if you want to see more videos made by myself, check out the links in the left, and click the subscribe button. Thanks again, and with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.